Hope everyone's doing well today. We'll probably have a couple of stragglers come in a little bit late, but I know that we all are crunched for time today. So I want to get started with the session and just say hello to everyone. And thank you to Diane Felson from the Arts Council for joining us today to tell us more about the Capital Arts Grant. We had about 35 people register today, so I anticipate getting a couple of more coming in as we go. But let's get started with the session. And I want to start just by welcoming everyone, and I'm going to give just a few brief updates, and then we're going to let Diane get started on her conversation because I know she has a hard stop at 3:45, and I want to make sure we have time for your questions because I'm sure there will be lots of questions. So I heard a couple of other people trying to get in. Let me just make sure I'm letting all of them in. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen just for a moment with you. And we can. Today, I'm just going to give you a couple of updates, and then we're going to let Diane talk, do the question and answer, and then at the end, with our remaining few minutes that we have left, we will let everyone go around and introduce themselves and share what you're working on so that we can make sure that we are all aware of what's happening throughout the field. So as far as updates with SJCA goes, we have been very busy trying to get ready for lots of new things coming in 2022, not the least of which is our new website launch, which we're very excited about. Becoming a hub of information and resources for the South Jersey cultural community is very important to SJCA, and we realized our website really wasn't living up to this new cultural asset map that we have created and all the resources that we've been gathering. So we've done a great job of working with a developer to clean up the site, streamline it, make it more usable, and integrate new software to help the community connect even when we're not in sessions like this. So one of those software programs is called Givitas. It is an online virtual community that basically allows all of the SJCA members and members of the cultural community to connect in a closed social community and ask for help or offer help to the community, post resources, share documents and things online, and it can help us to track where those connections are being made and keep an archive of all of those questions so that when you are wondering where you can find a contract template for a commission or you're looking for information on how to do your ADA plan for your grant, you can find where people have been discussing those items previously and access all of those resources. So all that said, it's a really great software, but we need some beta testers. So if you are interested in being a beta tester, I will send out a link to everyone so that you can sign up to help us test out the software and let us know what you think. I would really be appreciative if we could get a group of people to do that so that when we launch in January, we can hit the ground running and have everything run very smoothly. Another thing I wanted to mention is the Audience Insight Manager, AIM. It's a great tool that ArtPride is offering to help you keep your lists clean and your information up to date. And you can also share information with other organizations throughout the cultural community so that you can grow your audience and build your donor base. And ArtPride's been sending information out about that, but if you have any questions, you can always contact us and we can connect you with the right people if you haven't received those emails. I'm going to send a PDF with all of the links and everything to all of this. I didn't want to take too much time going over individually the links, but there's a Ducktown community engagement survey. We're helping the community engagement group there to distribute. If you have any connection with Atlantic City or Ducktown, if you work, live, play there, they need your input for some grants that they've received and to know how you want them to utilize those funds to improve the Atlantic City community. Lots happening in Atlantic City right now. It's very exciting. Yesterday, there was a call to announce the launch of the Thrive AC Fund, which is granting money to organizations and community initiatives to help strengthen Atlantic City. They're giving away $1 million a year, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity that everyone should check out. So I'm going to include a link to that. And with that, I am going to wrap up our updates. And please excuse my voice. I'm just getting over being ill, so I know I don't sound very nice. But I want to let Diane get started with her presentation because that's what we're all here for. So without any further ado, I want to turn the screen over to Diane and let her get started with her presentation. So I'm going to stop my share. And Diane, you should have access to share your PowerPoint.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I hope you're able to see the screen. It has the Arts Council logo on it. There's a lot of red. Just give me a thumbs down if you can't see that. But thank you for spending some time with me this afternoon. My name is Diane Felson. I'm a program officer with the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. Prior to my joining the Arts Council, I was an arts administrator at a South Jersey nonprofit for about 13 years. And I'm really excited to be sharing this grant opportunity with all of you because I personally know how crippling a capital need or a capital emergency can be on an organization's budget, especially if you have an almost break-even budget like so many organizations in South Jersey do. So I'm hoping that learning about this opportunity is something that can really help with some important needs that you might be having as far as priorities go, even though they might not be directly related to the mission of your organization, they're still a priority. And I hope that you find today's session useful. I will try to keep it brief and I will absolutely have time for questions after the formal presentation. So, what is Capital Arts? Capital Arts is a brand new grant program being presented for the first time in fiscal year 22 by the Arts Council. And there are about $4 million set aside for this program. It's dedicated to New Jersey nonprofit arts organizations, and it is focused on one of these three categories: construction, repair or expansion of your existing facilities, and acquisition or installation of service equipment for your building, such as plumbing, mechanical, electrical. This is bricks and mortar, like one of the hardest things that typically you can find a grant for, and that's what we're focusing on. What this is not a capital program for is for, securing a vehicle for your organization or buying outdoor furniture for your organization. This is not a grant program for that. This is really focused on building, bricks and mortar, and building service equipment. The guidelines are currently posted on the Arts Council's website. artscouncilnj.gov is the website. And if you click on the link that says grant opportunities, you will find all the information related to this grant application. You will find the guidelines, you will find an FAQ document, you will find a recording of a webinar that went into even more detail than I'm going to be going in with you today. And what you're not going to find is a link to start your application. The actual application will not be available in the Sage system until January 6th. The reason we did this is because we know this is a complicated grant. We are asking for a lot of very specific materials, and we wanted to give you time to get them before you started working on the actual application. So now's the time to read those guidelines thoroughly, put the due dates in your calendar, and start gathering things so that when it is time to start typing and uploading, you'll have everything done. That's the goal. So you will see that in Sage, you will find the application on January 6th. On January 12th, the Arts Council is presenting a webinar where we will be sharing how to successfully submit your application, and we will be discussing all the components that you will be seeing in Sage to help make you more comfortable with that process. And it is due no later than February 17th at 4 p.m. For those of you who aren't familiar with applying directly to the Arts Council or aren't familiar with the Sage system, don't wait until 3:59. Don't wait till 3:58. When everyone is in Sage at the same time, it can get bogged down, and it takes a little longer sometimes to upload things. It takes a little longer for processing things. And as soon as 4 o'clock hits, you will not be able to submit the application. So get it in early, get it in a day early if you want, or get it in that morning of February 17th, just to make sure that something silly like a traffic jam in, the internet is not the reason why you don't successfully submit an application. We will not be able to offer any extensions past that deadline. So again, February 17th is a very important date to remember. Eligibility. To be eligible for this program, you have to be located in New Jersey. So all of you here are located in New Jersey. So that's a check for you. You need to be a 501c3 nonprofit. You need to be dedicated to the arts, for arts organizations. So if you are an arts and history organization, you have to prove that you prioritize art more than history. So please keep that in mind. We also need you to have at least one paid employee who's responsible for administrative and programmatic responsibilities of your organization. That employee needs to be working at minimum of 20 hours a week. That has to be for one person. It cannot be split across multiple people. There's other eligibility requirements, and they're all detailed in the guidelines, but these are 3 pretty big check marks that you should make sure you have before you take even more time to research the opportunity. For this specific program, the way the council is defining an arts organization is an organization whose primary purpose is to create, perform, present, or otherwise promote the visual, performing, or literary arts. The second requirement is that you're doing that work year-round. If you're an organization that operates mostly in the summer and you present like a summer art series, but then you're not really presenting programming for the remainder of the year, this is not a program for you. We're really looking for year-round operating arts organizations for this specific opportunity. Some eligible projects: your roof maybe needs to get replaced. Perhaps your building still has knob and tube in it and you need to upgrade your electrical. You need to replace your windows. Your plumbing system is in need of an upgrade, or maybe you're building a bathroom and you want to, add plumbing to your existing facility. HVAC system, something we've all become experts in over the last 18 months. Repairing your foundation, exterior painting, plastering, bathrooms, an elevator, an accessibility ramp, changing the entrance so that it's wider, perhaps for accessibility issues, construction, repair, building service equipment. They're all examples of eligible projects for this opportunity. Some things to be aware of that would make you ineligible. If you have a lease and that lease is going to be expiring at any point during the grant period, you will not be considered eligible for this opportunity. So if you are planning to apply and this situation pertains to you, now is a good time to maybe start a conversation with your landlord to see if you can get something renewed or extended, something so that your dates work. The grant period is an 18-month grant period, so take a look in the guidelines about the specific dates and make sure that you are in a lease during that time period. It's very important. If your building or your location is on a historic site, unfortunately, this opportunity isn't for you, but please, we are recommending that people contact the New Jersey Historical Trust. The reason for this is we're an arts organization. We cannot authorize arts money to possibly alter a historic site. We don't have the expertise here. We cannot provide the funds for something that we don't have the expertise behind. So again, the New Jersey Historic Trust is where you should go and look for information about capital funding if you are a historic location. General maintenance, landscaping, planning costs, acquisition of collections, general operating costs, costs associated with making this report happen. Those are all things that are not eligible. If you're setting aside a contingency fund for this project, this grant can't be used to create a contingency fund. Travel, entertainment, plaques, all that is not eligible. And once again, furniture, vehicles, tech equipment, tech upgrades, or like just general equipment. And when I say equipment, like something like a battery operated piece of equipment that you would just screw into the ceiling, that would not apply for this specific grant opportunity. Grant match. This is my one of my favorite parts about this grant program. We do have a grant match requirement. It's 50% of the grant award. However, that rule does not go into effect unless you're asking for $100,000 or more. So if you are asking for a $99,999 grant, you do not have to match it. So if your only capital need is a roof, go for it. You can get a straight grant. So please keep that in mind, and no match until you hit that $100,000 figure. The maximum you can request is $250,000. We will not be accepting requests for over $250,000, but if your project is more expensive than that, we are going to be looking for evidence that you're going to be able to pay for that difference. So you're going to have to show us that you have the money to make this project happen. So please keep that in mind. And in-kind is not eligible as far as the grant match rules go. Some things you could be working on now before January 6th. Make sure you're registered in Sage system. You're registered with NJ Start, the New Jersey Division of Revenue, Consumer Affairs. Start working on a project plan that's in line with the guidelines and eligibility requirements, which are already spelled out in the document I mentioned, and start gathering and developing those support materials that are required components for this application. Sage, the council uses something called Blue Sage. This is used by everyone at the Department of State. And there's multiple Sage, so make sure you're in Blue Sage. If you've never used Sage before, the website is sage.nj.gov. Make sure it's blue, as you can see in this picture. And if you've never registered before, there is a new user link right there in the login screen. So you can set up the process to create an account. But please know it's not an automatic thing like most web systems. There is an administrator that has to review your account and approve it, and then you will be contacted when your account has been created. It normally takes about 48 hours for that to happen because it requires a human to actually read what you wrote. Now, with the holidays coming up, if you're going to do this next week, give yourself a little more time to wait to hear back from anybody. But typically it's a 48-hour turnaround to completely activate your account in a Sage system. If you already are registered in Sage, it still doesn't hurt to log in. Check out all your organizational details. Make sure everything's current. Make sure all the uploads are already in there that you're required to have in order to be active. Check the people who are authorized users to your account. Have you had staff turnover? Has somebody had access to your account who's no longer an employee? You might want to you might need to remove some emails. You might need to add some emails. Now's a great time to just do that housekeeping process to make sure everything is up to date in the Sage system. And then, as I've been mentioning, our website, artscouncil.nj.gov, in the grant opportunity section, we have a very thorough Sage video tutorial that can even walk you through the process if you're not familiar with the Sage system and you'd like to learn more about how to navigate setting up an account. NJ Start. Even if you've been doing business with the state or you've been receiving grants from the state for a long period of time, everyone is now required to be registered with NJ Start. So it's important, if you haven't registered, to create that registration. It's the only way to get money. So if you want to get paid, you need to have a registration here. There's also an option in NJ Start when you create your registration to receive your payments electronically instead of through a paper check. This greatly expedites when you get your grant award. So I very much recommend getting your information in here so that you receive electronic payments. You will get your money faster that way. And again, we have a quick reference guide to kind of help you navigate the registration process in NJ Start if you need further details on the website in the grant opportunity section. Same thing with New Jersey Division of Revenue. You do need to be registered as a nonprofit with the Division of Revenue. They will also be confirming that you're compliant with all the requirements with the Treasury. Make sure that your registration with the Division of Revenue is an NP, not an FP. An FP is a nonprofit registration that was created through the laws from a state that was not in New Jersey. And unfortunately for this specific opportunity, we are only able to provide this award to those who have an NP registration with the Division of Revenue. So that's good, even if you are registered, to log in and check to see whether you're an NP or an FP. And again, we do have a link to the business registration certificate service on our website in the grant opportunities section, and that can help you continue figuring out that process. And the last very important detail is the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs. This is also known as Charities Registration. You need to be registered and compliant. If you've never registered, it's really important to start that process now because it can be time consuming. If you're expired, let's get renewed now. If you are not compliant, you cannot move on to the next phase of this grant process. So it's very important to be compliant and have everything taken care of at the time of application. And once again, there is a link to the website in the grant opportunity section of the Arts Council's website. Support materials. These are the things you could be gathering now. We need both your audits from fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 21. A 990 or a financial review is okay, depending on your budget. If you do not have your fiscal year 21 audit yet because your fiscal year has not ended, that's completely understandable. You'll need to upload a letter explaining that and explaining when it will be made available. But please know there is a requirement in the state of New Jersey to submit this documentation within 6 months of the end of your fiscal year. It cannot be submitted later than that. If it is submitted later than 6 months, there's not a chance that you'll be deemed ineligible for this opportunity. You're going to need either your deed or your lease, depending on whether you own or rent your facility. So find that, get access to it. We're going to be having you upload it. In addition to that, when you are applying for the grant in Sage, there is a specific question for anyone that holds a lease asking if you have permission in your lease to do these capital improvements that you're applying for in your grant. And we'll be asking where in your lease we can find that information. So it's good to kind of get to know that lease and know where you can share that so that you're not scrambling at the 11th hour when you're uploading all your details. You're also going to need a consent letter saying that you have the consent of the people who are authorized to run your organization to do this project. If you own your building, that is coming from the executive director and a board president. If you lease the building, it's coming from your landlord. We're going to be asking for the credentials of all the key project personnel. And if you are using the services of an architect, please remember that the architect must be licensed in the state of New Jersey. We're going to be asking you for a timeline and a scope statement that shows the scope of work for this project and how long you anticipate it to take. We're going to be asking for photographs, a map or a site plan, any kind of planning documents that have already been put together to show us that you've been putting thought into this project and that you're ready to go. Any kind of construction documents that you've already acquired to support a construction project. Remember, we're going to need drawings for your elevation, in the plan and elevation details of what you're building. And then finally, estimates from the people that you want to work with. So all your cost estimates, we'll be asking you to upload that. Something else I just want you to keep in mind is that these all need to be uploaded as PDF files, not Word docs. So just remember, if you haven't really converted Word documents or Excel spreadsheets into PDFs, it's a good time to start practicing. It's really not a complicated process, but it's better to get to know it before you have to do it. Practice now, then you'll be more comfortable when it's time to apply. So that's the end of my formal presentation. I'm one of many program officers here at the council. We each have specific disciplines that we're responsible for assisting the field in. I'm responsible for visual arts, multidisciplinary, and craft organizations. We have a team of program officers that are responsible for all the other arts disciplines. If you visit our website and click on About, you'll find the list of all of us and our contact information, and we're all happy to assist you with any questions you may have. But for now, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So I'm going to stop sharing and we can get started.
Great. Thank you so much, Diane. So
Sure.
there are some questions coming through in the chat. I'm not sure if you want to read them from the chat or you want me to funnel them to you.
I will pull up the chat and see what I can do here. I see links from you. I see one question from LBIF Yoga. Is that what you're seeing, Julie?
Yep, one question.
Okay. If the project described in the grant request is 99,000 and the project described is approved, will the funding be in the total amount requested, or can the funding that is approved be only a partial amount of what is requested? So I can answer the first part of the question. I'm not understanding the last part, but the first part is the way that this grant application is being reviewed is that we will be reviewing them for completion, for eligibility. If you are completely eligible, you submitted all the information correctly, there is nothing missing, there's nothing expired, all of your registrations are correct, you are up to date with everything, you get placed in the lottery pile. We assign a random number to all of those eligible applications, and then we just give you what you requested in numerical order until we run out of money. So we are not reviewing your need. We are not judging your need. We are not judging your project. We just want to make sure if you have all the work done, if you did everything that you're supposed to do, everything is correct, then you're eligible. So we are not going to review your grant request and say, okay, you asked for 99, but you're only getting 50. That's not a situation in this specific grant program. So if the money is available and you get a low number in the lottery, there's a very good chance that you will receive the amount that you're requesting. The part of the question here that says, will the funding be in the total amount requested, or can the funding that is approved be only a partial amount of what is requested? That's the part I'm not really understanding. What we are going to be asking for, if you are asking for a $99,000 grant for a project that costs $500,000, you're going to have to show me that you're able to pay for that $401,000. So you have to have that money. You can't just say we're going to have a capital campaign. I need to have evidence that such and such foundation is paying for the balance, or my board president has committed $1 million, or whatever it is. You need to show me that you have the money. So it's not just ask for 99 because you don't want to have a cash match and then just say, we'll find the rest of it. You have to have a plan to show me that it can be paid for. Any other questions?
Looks like one more came in from Camden Fireworks. Sjca says, can you please elaborate on how the lottery slots are determined?
It's a random number generator. So everything will be uploaded into a random number generator, and it will assign a number to the organization. And then we're just going to go in numerical order.
Great. And then we also got one from Gail that says the exterior of the building is a key building to the national landmark status in Cape May, not the interior. So could we pursue plumbing or electricity paid through this grant? For example, we're turning the church into a theater.
I spoke with this organization earlier on in the process, and this is a tricky situation where you need to kind of have a conversation with the municipality to discuss the historic designation of Cape May, how you are a contributing resource to the historic designation, and then you need to provide documentation from either the municipality or from the New Jersey Historic Register saying that the construction that you want to do does in no way hinder any part of the historic status or designation. I know it's a lot of work, but unfortunately in this specific situation, again, we are not a history organization. So even though you're an arts organization in a historic building, since these dollars are altering something that could possibly be in a historic building, you have to be very specific that there is no threat to affecting any part of your historic status. Normally, we're saying if you're in a historic facility at all, that you are not eligible for this grant opportunity. So you have to be really specific in this situation to talk about how it won't affect the Cape May historic designation. And then I'm looking here, I see I'm with Pine Shores Artists Association. Our organization is administered completely by volunteers, yet you insist we hire a 20-hour-a-week administrator to qualify for this grant. Why? We're not telling you to hire somebody. We would like to see that you already have that employee. The reason for this is a very complicated grant, and working with the state is a very complicated process, and we need to know that you have the administrative capacity to handle it. That is why we require somebody with administrative responsibility to be on your payroll for at least 20 hours a week. We are not encouraging you to hire somebody now, because that's not the reason for the requirement. The reason is to show that you have the administrative capacity to handle working with us.
Diane, is there any possibility of organizations collaborating together? If you have, say, an all-volunteer organization that maybe does classes and provides programming in another organization's facility, could they, partner together in some way so that the volunteer association or collective of artists could benefit from the improvements made by the facilities that they're doing their programs in? Would there be any benefit to that?
The only way that would be possible is if this is a building that this organization is functioning in as a public space already and has a lease agreement, kind of a situation. We're not going to give money to for example, a for-profit building that's just letting somebody use a space gratis, kind of that kind of situation. The state art dollars can't go to a for-profit business. We can talk about something in the future, but for this specific grant opportunity, these are already in the guideline, and it is a requirement. So I'm sorry, I can't be flexible right now about that, but I think maybe this is something we can continue having conversation about, because this is a requirement for all direct funding grants from the council.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. I see one more question came through. Is this grant going to occur in the future?
I do not know. It's because our money is based off of our governor's budget. So this is a portion of the money that was appropriated to the council in the governor's fiscal year 22 budget. We set this aside specifically so that we can finally introduce a grant program that can cover bricks and mortar. So I really don't know, but if you have a need, now is the right time to apply, because I really don't know what will be happening in the future. I'm hopeful, because I think it's very important. And like I said, I know what it's like to have capital needs when you're trying to be an arts organization, and the distractions and the burden that can place. But right now, all I know is that it's available this year only. No, we don't have a bid requirement, but we are going to be supplying us with the quotes and this, the scope statement and all the other materials. But no, you do not have to bid out this project, because it's not an official state project. We're just giving you a grant.
Okay. I don't see any other questions coming through. Diane does have a hard stop at 3:45, guys. So if you do have a question, please enter it in the chat now. If for some reason you think of the question after Diane has to leave us, you can always, I'm sure, email her directly and she'll help you, or you can contact us and we're happy to get you in touch with Diane.
Thank you. And I'm a South Jersey girl, and I want to see lots of South Jersey applications. So I really would love to brag that we got an incredible amount of participation from South Jersey this year. So I'm here. Call me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to help you, walk you through it. If there's something that's kind of like stumping you, give me a call. I want to work it out. I would love to see an awesome amount of participants from my home region.
Thanks, Diane. We did have one other question that popped in here. Do you have to pay a prevailing wage?
We don't have a formal rule about that, no.
Okay. Well, thank you so, so much, Diane. That was really informative. And I am happy to, share any information with our group beyond this meeting if there are any updates. But I know that you have lots of technical assistance workshops listed on the website. So if you are interested in applying and want more information, you can definitely attend one of those sessions and really get into the nitty-gritty of the application itself. And if you run into any obstacles, Diane is here to help. The council is here to help. Sjca is here to help. And I'm with Diane. I'm a South Jersey girl, obviously, and I would love to see the application numbers increase from the South. So let us know what the obstacles are, if there are any. And even if you, can't make it work for this particular grant, we do keep track of those obstacles, and we hear you, and we can advocate for future grant opportunities to address those issues and concerns that you have. So make sure you're speaking up and letting us know.
Thank
Okay.
you. And thanks
Diane.
everybody. Next not technical assistance open office hours where I'm just on Zoom and you come in and ask me any questions you have is tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So if you do have any questions between now and then, you're more than welcome to join me on Zoom.
Great.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care. I'm going to log out now. I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, you too. Okay. Well, we're going to let Diane escape, but we can all stay, and I'm happy to use this section of the meeting. We've got about 20 minutes or so left for everyone to go around and maybe introduce yourself, say where you're from and what you're working on, share what you've got on your plate at the moment, and we can take a little time to connect. So I am going to change my view here so that I can see everyone. And I'm just going to call some names because I feel like that's the easiest way to handle this. So Gail, why don't we start with you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Gail Stahlhook, Artistic Director of Eastland Theater Company in Cape May, New Jersey. We just finished our 2021 season of virtual and live events. We started live events outdoors and went indoors. And in 2022, we will also have virtual, and hopefully all events, productions will be indoors when we start going live in June. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Gail, for joining us today. Okay, Paul Hartelius.
That's me. I'm Paula Hartelius from Pine Shores Art Association. I'm a jack of all trades here, basically, but grants is my number one job. And I've been there for 10 years and I've been past president and whatever else I do there. As far as what I'm working on now, I'm obviously wrapping up the 2021 grant season and looking possibly to apply for this particular grant. Although it annoys me that they're expecting us to have an administrator on board for 20 hours a week at least. And I'm just curious if anyone out there has such a predicament that we do. That we have no payroll. We have all volunteers. Anybody?
Yeah, we're all
See
volunteers.
Lisa raising her hand.
So guess what? You're going to have to hire someone to administer this grant. I don't think that's a great deal myself. I don't know.
I mean, if we had the money to hire an assistant for me as the president, well, I would do it in a heartbeat because I have two hands and all six are busy. So it's either we pay the rent or, it's tough because it blocks us out of a lot of grants, as I'm sure you know, Paul.
Yep. I don't know. We're looking at something where we don't even have an agreement yet. I don't even think we'll qualify to get up to ground zero for this particular grant, but it just kind of annoyed me, the fact that we had to have an administrator just to go administer this grant. I don't think that was made clear. And oh well, you know where I stand on it.
And I hear that a lot from volunteer-run organizations, and I know that it is a concern. And having that part-time administrator is a council grant requirement for all of their funding. But I hear that concern so often, and I think the council is now hearing the community kind of push back on that. So there's I think they're open to a discussion about that. And I think you're right. It probably won't make a difference for this particular grant. But there may be some, some options with staff sharing that organizations that are volunteer led could find, or perhaps there are grants that could fund the staffing that you need to be able to get your capacity built up and be able to qualify for some of these things. And I'm happy to help you guys dig into that conundrum and see what we can't do to try and address that problem. It's definitely a thing that we hear frequently from our volunteer groups. So we hear you, and it is on the radar.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I've been asking for this for a couple of years now to see where do I go to get a grant so that I could staff this. I have a gallery that I have to staff, 40 hours a week, and it's all volunteer, and it's really, really hard. And
It can be very difficult, and perhaps we get a group of these volunteer-led organizations together and we can talk about that in a smaller, separate meeting where we can really kind of dig into that topic and focus on it and come up with some suggestions or solutions we can, address. And the council, I'm sure, is willing to hear what we have to say and try and think of ways they can assist us.
awesome.
So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Sjca, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I am Sjca Kurtz. I'm the director of Camden Fireworks. We are in South Camden, a small arts organization that's working to use art to create social change. We're wrapping up our programming season. We reopened in June and we were fast and furious, and now we're taking a little bit of a pause. We will be opening in mid to late January with our first quilt exhibition, which I'm super excited about because I'm a quilter. And we are also hiring a part-time development manager because I can't do all the things well. So that's really what's consuming me, finalizing grant reporting, getting ready for a show next year, and trying to hire additional staff. So my hands are full, but I think this grant opportunity would definitely give us some capacity to grow what we're doing.
Great, thanks so much. Sjca is doing some great community work in Camden. I love the projects that are coming out of Camden Fireworks, and I too am very excited about the quilt exhibition. So I'll see you there in the opening. Okay, Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew Bast. I'm with One True Promotion, which is a brand of authors and artists that come together and basically want to help younger artists sort of thrive in the independent circuit. We usually do a lot of events all over South Jersey. We're always looking for more, and we're always looking to help other people grow and get their thoughts and their brands out there. We have a YouTube show, a podcast, all with great, good following. So if you're interested in getting a free interview, feel free to contact us at onetruepromotion@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andrew. I will talk with you offline. I think there are probably a lot of interested parties that would like some free promotional opportunity through you. So I'll get in touch with you. Okay, Mark Morgan.
He's muted.
There we go.
There you
Sorry. Hi, everybody. Mark Morgan. I'm the producing artistic director of the Moorestown Theater Company in Moorestown, South Jersey. We just closed a production of Elf the Musical with 43 cast members, children and adults, live, 6 performances on Sunday. We are doing it with the vaccination requirements for audiences, and the audience is wearing masks. Our cast are also wearing masks. This is our 13th production of our 2021 season. 63 performances, all live, all in person, most outside. We've moved inside with the colder weather. And in the last 19 months, we've done 19 live musicals. We've averaged 1 a month. So somehow we're fighting COVID, and someone said to me, "Aren't you afraid of COVID?" I said, "No, I respect it. but I'm not afraid of it. So we have been performing live. In the middle right now, I was late joining today because we're doing a cute thing on Facebook Live called the 12 Days of MTC. And Elf ended Sunday. So since Monday the 13th, each day we're announcing a show that we're doing next year, which will be our 20th anniversary season. So I just announced that we're doing Into the Woods next summer with our college age kids. So each day at 3:15, if you want to check out and see what we're adding. I'm doing that till Christmas Eve each day. So that's what's on our plate right now. And next year, like I said, will be a big year for us, our 20th year. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Congratulations. I was at Elf on Sunday. It was fantastic. My family really enjoyed it. And, you know, the masks on the actors really didn't impair enjoyment at all. You can barely see them when you're in the audience. So you're doing a great job with COVID. So keep up the good work.
And I'm sorry I missed you, Julie. I knew you sent the email telling me you were coming, and I didn't see you or was running around too much. So I
That's
apologize.
okay.
For saying
Very,
hello.
very busy. You had other things on your mind. It's quite all right. Okay.
Thank you for coming.
It was great. Ilvia, would you like to introduce yourself next? I see you busily working there.
I am embroidering something.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this is Ulvia Asal, and I am independent artist, teaching artist, and a small business owner in Haddonfield. I have a shop, and I am teaching in my studio space also other cultural and art organization. 4 years now with the I'm teaching at the Perkins Center for the Arts, and also master of the traditional artwork and belong to New Jersey folk art department. And what else? I don't know if you have any question. So many things I am running for, and most of my work textile and making lace, and you should come and see if you're able in South Jersey. Also, South Jersey cultural asset on the map, my business, and you can find me anytime from there. Also, I will add my website on the check box. Very short, but this.
That's fine. Thank you. We just wanted you to say hello. We can see all your lovely work in the background. Ilvia does
Thank you.
Beautiful lace making and beautiful textile work. So if you do get a chance to check out her work, it's definitely worth it. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Emma.
Hi, everybody. I am on the board of Eastland Theater Company, and this year I've been helping out with some of the additional grant opportunities that have come up. So I'm glad I was able to sit in and hear this presentation today. And I apologize, I will have to leave in a couple minutes. So.
Not a problem. You'll get a recording of the call and all of the links and information that we talked about afterwards. And if everyone is okay with sharing contact information, I can certainly share the email addresses and names and organizations of those on the call so that you can connect afterwards if you want to have offline conversations. So I'll include that with the post-event email. Thanks for joining us, Emma. And Henrietta from Chicken Bone Beach. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry I'm late. I just got doing paperwork and I looked, that's almost 3:33. So I apologize. I missed a lot of it.
That's okay. We've got a recording. We'll catch you up. No problem.
Okay, perfect. I'm Henrietta Shelton from Chicken Bone Beach Historical Foundation. We just opened our Jazz Institute for Youth Studies, and we're in the process now. We have about 6 instructors teaching drums, piano, guitar, and we're in the process of just hiring a new program director. We're excited about that. And we just had a board meeting with all the instructors trying to pull that together. We just heard from CASA. We're going to start doing possibly foster kids, giving them online music lessons, in the process of getting that together now. We're looking for, even though we have instruments and brass instrument brand new, a lot of the students that walk up to us don't have any instruments to practice. We did, was donated keyboards, pianos, and we purchased a couple guitars, which we loan out. But now it's getting to the point where kids want other instruments. And so we're seeking the public to possibly go in their garage or someplace and find an old instrument and donate it to us. We are successful in getting donates, and people are donating certain instruments, and we're really excited about that. And it's a whole new project. I'm used to just doing jazz concerts, but now we're in a building, and it's a whole new process for me. I'm learning. I know I need help because there's a whole new avenue for me, and we're in the process of seeking help and receiving help. So thank
Well,
you.
that's fantastic. It sounds like you have a lot of things happening there. We should set up a meeting to talk offline about all these projects, because I think I can point you in the way of some resources that might help with all the things that you're working on, because it sounds like those are some great community projects. Thank you so
Perfect. I
much for
appreciate it.
joining us.
Thank you.
Great. And Raymond, nice to see you. Would you like to go next?
Sure, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my name is Raymond Tyler. I wear a couple hats. I'm a member of the Atlantic City Arts Commission, where I just recently curated a new exhibit at the Arts Garage in Atlantic City, which will hang until the 16th of January. And also on the 16th of January, I'll be curating a Black Writers Celebration as my role as the Black Art Matters curator for the Arts Garage. So we're looking to book more authors to come through, set up tables, and do book signings. I'm partnering with Amira Bilal Shabazz from the city of Newark and some other people. I got a Vision coming who worked with Brave New World poetry series on HBO with those kids in Philly. So, 2022 is going to be a busy year, and I'm looking to partner with more galleries, theaters on various projects. In my role so far with the Arts Garage, I've curated events that range from discussing Halloween movies to Thanks for Hip Hop celebration during the first ever Hip Hop Month in November. And we just hope to move onward and upward, and I hope I can collaborate with any and all of you. So please keep in contact with me. Thank you.
Thanks, Raymond. Did you say you were looking for space for a particular exhibit?
Well, yeah, I'm always looking for space because I got a gang of artists, and I'm also working with a new Roku channel to do a Q&A show with visual artists called Conversations in Canvas. But yeah, I am looking for spaces to book myself for for visual arts, and also some of the artists that I work with who I'll be curating for beyond just the Arts Garage.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to make sure to include your email and name on the contact list so that people can get in touch with you if they have any thoughts on space for your projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Silverado. I am the president of TRAC, Toms River Artist Community in Toms River. I'm also the cultural director of the BID for Toms River, and I'm on the board of directors for CAP, the Community Arts Project in Toms River. I also own Small Town Arts of Toms River, which is in the same building, 53 Main Street, as our TRAC gallery. And we're wrapping up a big year for TRAC. one of the biggest years we've had sales wise and promotion wise, and we did a 120-foot mural this year. It's Track's first mural. It was an appreciation mural for all the first responders and essential workers, not COVID based, just a straight up thank you. We had 285 kids from the community come out and help us paint that mural. And this year we're focusing on a lot of children's art classes and getting senior citizens involved. We're gonna do a traveling track team, which is gonna go to different senior facilities around the area, because we feel a need that they've been kind of, through this whole COVID thing, they've kind of been pushed to the side, and we're gonna jump in there and try and help them out a little bit.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah, no worries.
And Jeffrey Dorsey, he is one of our friends from we are members of the Hispanic Association of Atlantic County. And Jeffrey was in the meeting last night that I attended, and we are connecting. He is not only runs his own construction business, but also works closely or heads up an organization called Create 48 that is active in Atlantic City and trying to help artists. So tell us a little bit about that, Jeffrey.
So I am the newest member to Create 48's board. Our founder is also in the meeting, Zach. So I will just say that Create 48 is doing various arts projects, supporting artists, and working on building space and maker space, things of this nature for artists in and around New Jersey and Atlantic County. But I'll let Zach expound on that because he has a lot more knowledge than I do.
Okay.
I'm a business guy, and that's what I bring to the table, a little bit of that, and figuring out some of the problems that some of these nonprofits like the other ones have as far as fitting into these grants and getting the paperwork the way it needs to be.
Well, thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate your joining us today. And is Zach still in the session?
Yes. Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
All right. I'm Zach Katzen from Create 48. I was formerly the program director with the Atlantic City Arts Foundation, and due to COVID, we had layoffs, and but we had work that we had to still do. So we started our own organization to keep the work moving forward. I've been involved in pretty much every mural that's been created in Atlantic City. That's sort of our lane. We're active in the murals and public art. And we're just in the process of opening our first space, which will be a actual gallery space, show space, and some workspace for artists in Atlantic City. And we're in very much the same boat as everyone else on this Zoom, where you need to have employees in order to get grants. But if you had enough money to have employees, you wouldn't need the grants necessarily. So it's a catch-22. We're all chasing the tail. We trying to raise ourselves up into a place that we can actually apply and get these grants. But in order to do that, you need some base level funding that most of us are all fighting over and for the same little pockets and donors that are active and that we can get. And, that's always been our struggle. And, that's why we're very thankful to have people like Dorsey and that on our team that can help us find and point us in other pockets and directions. But as a straight arts organization, it's the same thing as everybody else. I mean, we're going to open this space, and we're going to be looking to Stockton for interns, for helping, for staffing and things like that, because, there's no money in the art. There's just no money for us here. And we're all fighting for the same small pile.
Did you attend the Thrive AC Fund session last night? It sounds like that is going to be a great opportunity for both general operating support as well as programmatic support. So with the general operating,
I wasn't able to attend it, but I did apply. General operating, you will be able to get some amount of funding, but it's not going to be enough to actually obviously run your organization. They actually had to tell me, before they put a cap. I think I'm the reason why they put a cap on program applications, because within the first day of opening, I submitted about 20 applications for different programs and things that I had. I asked them is there a cap, and they said no. I said, then be ready for the floodgates. So I put about 20 in for different projects. So I'm very happy and hopeful for that fund. And I think it's going to be able to help a lot of organizations. But it's again, those are still the little pockets that help us just do one specific thing or get to one specific goal attained, not as actually operational funding, where we don't have to constantly stress or worry every single day about how are we going to keep the lights on, or can we do this thing tomorrow, or that's a great idea, I wish we had the money to even execute a portion of it. And that's where we're hoping to get past a little bit, or elevate a little higher too, where we can operate a little smoother with some steady funding sources and some freedom.
Well, I think that the topic of the staffing requirement and capacity for volunteer organizations and smaller emerging organizations is definitely a group that would have some fruitful discussions, and we could potentially, come up with some solutions that we can present and try and solve for that, for many of the organizations that struggle with those things in the community. So I'll make notes of everyone who mentioned it, and I will definitely be forming a group to talk about that further. So thanks for joining us and letting us know.
Sure. Thank you. I look forward to pulling resources.
Great. And then Andrew, I think you are the last on the list. Andrew, are you still with us? No? Okay.
Nope,
I see
I
lots of.
already went.
Oh, you already went. Okay, sorry. Joyce Hagan, we haven't heard from you. Are you on the call?
I am, yes.
Yes.
Hi,
Welcome.
everybody. I'm Joyce Hagan. I'm from the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. Our mission is to bring more arts of all varieties to the quality of life in Atlantic City. We've been in place in the city since 2015, and we have 3 major programs that are Arteriors, in which we take over an empty facility and invite or jury artists to be able to install all kinds of artwork within the facility. We have Chalk About AC every October. We invite anyone who's in the city on a beautiful day, usually in October, to create chalk drawings all over the city of Atlantic City. And we provide chalk and matching t-shirts for everybody. And our flagship program, 48 Blocks Atlantic City, is the program through which we create a lot of murals that are being enjoyed by the public and as well as the tourists who visit Atlantic City. We also do a lot of special projects. Most recently, we participated in a project that was funded by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection through a grant from NOAA. And through that project, we created what's called a water table that's located at the Abstekan Lighthouse and is still there, and everyone can go and enjoy that. And we recently found out we were selected for a second year to participate in that same program. So everything that we're doing is geared toward the stability of the creative community in Atlantic City, as well as increasing the quality of life through public art.
Thank you so much, Joyce. The Atlantic City Arts Foundation has been doing fantastic things in the past few years. I've noticed how much you've grown, and the programs are really just dynamic and engaging, and the public loves them. I've been to the Artropolis and to the Chalk About Town and to the murals. All of the events that you guys do are really wonderful, and you do a lot for the city. So thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you, Julie.
Okay. And some people, I think, maybe joined through the Facebook link, and I might not have caught you. If you have not introduced yourself yet and you would like to, speak now or forever hold your peace. We're a little over the 4 o'clock point, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And if there is no one else, then I think we can say goodbye for the day, and we can. I will send all the information out in the post-event email. I did attach a PDF here in the chat, probably way up at the top above all of those comments. That was a PDF of all of the updates that I mentioned in the beginning of the session, but I'll also attach that with the post-event email. So thank you to everyone for taking time out of your afternoon to spend with us and hear about the capital grant. Even if it's not something that is going to work for your organization or your group, it's always always nice to see you, and it's always good to hear those concerns so that we know, what the obstacles to applying for those grants are, so that we can share that information with those funders and hopefully work towards solutions to those problems so that everyone can have equity in the funding, and making sure that we're all getting enough resources to thrive and liven up the South Jersey cultural community. So I appreciate you all very much, and your work is very important. And although it makes us tired, and sometimes we feel like we don't always have the resources we need, we keep going every day because the work has impact, and it's very important to keeping South Jersey strong and thriving. So thank you to everyone, and have a lovely afternoon. As always, reach out to me anytime with any questions. I'm always happy to help.
Thank you.
so
Happy
very
holidays.
much. Happy holidays to everyone.
To you.
Thanks, Julie.
Happy
Nice to meet you. Have a good
holidays.
one.
Thank you.
Yes, you too.